Hi, everybody. I'm Ginny Schuster, and I'm with the series Who Do You Know? So, on today's program, we have Lois, who is going to talk about her books that she's written and also her marketing plan. So, welcome, Lois. It's so great to have you here.
It is a pleasure. It's a joy to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Well, tell us some of your background and how you got into writing these books.
Sure. I started my career as a fourth and fifth grade teacher. I ultimately went to Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. It's the state school, and received my doctorate in educational leadership, and ultimately went up the ranks and became a superintendent of schools in a K-12 school district. Retired from that position, and my husband and I moved to Florida.
Now, these books that you've written did you get into that after you moved to Florida, and kind of why did you choose to go that route?
Throughout my career, I always felt that we didn't spend enough time on core values. I'm talking honesty, respect, respecting others' space, taking responsibility for your action, being kind, being cooperative, learning self-reflection, learning to share, learning to be a good sport. These are skills that we need to teach children as early as possible so that they'll be successful as adults. And I just felt that because of state testing and the focus in education today on the tests, that teachers and even parents and grandparents just weren't spending the time. So I always wanted to write a book. While I was working, I really didn't have the time. And once I retired, I wanted to write it, and I thought about it and thought about it. And I couldn't wrap my head around it. You know, it's not easy writing a book and coming up with the book.
I cannot imagine. No.
And it's so interesting because one day the entire family was out to dinner, and one of the little ones took his milk and with his straw started tossing the milk around the table. He's adorable. The action was not adorable.
Right.
And his older cousin turned to him and said, "Hey, don't be that kid." And a book was born. I'll show you the first book. My first book is
I love that.
Be That
Don't
Kid
be that kid
at
at school.
Since it's Don't Be That Kid, all the characters are goats. They're all goats. And each scene—
How clever.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Children love animals.
They
And
do.
if you want to talk about behavior with a child, it's a good idea not to focus on that child's behavior at the moment, but rather talk about someone else's behavior. So talking about our little goat's behavior throughout the book helps parents and grandparents and educators then transition to the child. Each scene of the book is separated into a different caricature, and each scene depicts— let me give you an example.
Oh, wow.
This is a scene about including others. Not being included is a very big issue in schools today. Kids are lonely, they feel left out. So every scene depicts another issue, and you read the scene and they're fun scenes, but then you talk about the scene and you have a conversation with a child about the scene. And because you're talking about a goat, children will be very free to give their opinion. So I wrote that book, and while writing it, I wrote a teacher's guide that begins with establishing expectations, because all anyone ever wants to know is, what do you want from me? I mean, how can I succeed? So children are no different. We want to tell them what we expect. And then every single scene of the book has activities separated into grades K1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. And then people asked me to do a home version. So I wrote, Don't Be That Kid at Home. So now our little goat is misbehaving at home. A typical scene: he's playing a board game, he's losing, he throws the game up. So they're fun books with a purpose.
I
And
love it.
in both books, in the Don't Be That Kid at School book, he wakes up in the morning and looks in the mirror. In the Don't Be That Kid at Home book, he's in a time out and looks in the mirror. Who am I? What kind of a kid do I want to be moving forward? How do I have to change my behavior? And then I have a collage.
Oh, wow.
All the scenes with him behaving. Find the scene in the collage, go back in the book. How does he have to change? So my books are not books you read and put away. They're books you read, have fun with, conversation with children. So the books are for educators and parents and grandparents, and they're all over the country. They're all over the world. So, and I've achieved that through marketing.
I love it. Well, let's carry on through marketing. I love to get people who come on to the Who Do You Know show and listen to these interviews and have them realize they can do a business. But what's important is they've got to have a marketing plan. And yours is outstanding. Tell us what you did.
So what I did was I created a very strategic marketing plan. I thought about every single client, every single person who could possibly be interested in my books. What did that mean? For a children's book, that meant schools. But so you say public schools, but then you take it further and you say not just public schools, but charter schools, religious schools, people who homeschool. You go into libraries and you meet with the person in the library who buys the books. I like to establish a relationship. I like to talk to someone. So I pick up the phone, I call, I make an appointment. Come and see me. You're always interested in books. And then I go, I show my book. In my county, there are 7 libraries in my county. Now my books are in 7 libraries. But now I extend it and I say, who do I need to speak to do a reading, to have a reading and an activity at the library? So then I meet with that person, usually at that point on the phone, and we schedule a time for me to read, do a little activity, and then sell my books because I want. So you take the concept and you constantly are expanding it. Now you keep going. I am never afraid to be turned down. I don't take it personally. Yep. So I researched every children's boutique or gift store within an hour from where I live. I walked in there with my books, asked to speak to the manager. Out of maybe 50, 10 said, we'd love to have your books. So first, the books are in the store. Once they're in the store, I call a month later, let's do a reading. So now I'm in organizations and I give a presentation and I sell the books. So
right there on the spot?
Right there on the spot. I created a seminar called the Making of the Next Bestseller. And I wrote a 1-page proposal and brought it to people in universities and colleges who are the directors of lifelong learning for adults to go to. And it's a 3-hour presentation. I take you from the thought of doing your book all the way up to the legal and business implications. And when they leave this seminar, they know exactly what they have to do. And then I sell the books. You see, there's a theme here.
Oh my goodness, what a theme.
And
right.
I'm selling the books. You have to be open-minded and you're constantly expanding. When I wrote both, listen, it's obvious a children's book, educators, parents, grandparents, but you, in a business plan, in a marketing plan, you want to expand. When I wrote Don't Be That Kid at Home, I said to myself, who is a target to buy this book? So I sell Don't Be That Kid at Home in bulk, 20, 25 at a clip. to realtors and mortgage people. When you're creating a business plan, you're thinking about who wants my services, who can I help with my product, whatever it is. And then you take your initial thought and expand and expand and expand upon it.
I love it. I love it. These are terrific points for people to consider.
You have to say to yourself, where am I getting these clients from? And then you, no one else but you, have to go about your business getting them. But the important thing is you have to have a plan. You cannot go to any of these phone calls or meetings unless you have a plan. People don't want to read 10 pages. They want to read a page. You need to get what you plan on doing in one consolidated page. You hand it to them, they'll love it. And then they say, that's great. We have an opening April 15th, fine. And by going and giving that presentation, people are learning who you are, what you are about, what you have to offer. And that's a way to get clients. And networking is a great way. But there are so many coaches out there that you have to have a niche. You have to really hustle and find a way to get people to come to you.
It's amazing how things open for you. The more you get out there. And I think that's a point to get across is you have to open yourself up to talking about what you're doing. And then you never know the people you're going to run into or meet, and who knows who. So it just continues to open up more doors the more you get into it. And customers that you didn't know that you had all of a sudden start to change and appear and listen to you. The trips you're taking, the write-ups you get.
I'm focused on it. I want to help other people succeed in business. It's not just about me and my business. It's about helping you. And what happens is, as you're helping others, they remember you as well.
That's so true, Lois.
They do.
Thank you.
Everyone who's listening, you have to put yourself out there. You have to be sincere and truly want to help others. And then you'll see your business will increase automatically.
I love it. That is so true.
And you have to be willing to pivot. So you start in one direction.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, this isn't working so well. And what I'm hearing constantly from prospects is they don't need this, they need that. Can I now include that in my business?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. That pivot is another thing that I mentioned to people who want to be an entrepreneur, that you have to be flexible. As you said, you've got to hear what your customers really want. I would love it if people would comment and ask questions, and love this video. This is so super, all the information that you've got us. Are there any last minute words that you can think of to close this up?
Every single person who is listening to this video, you have it in your power to be successful. It is up to you. You need to plan it out and then see it to fruition. It's all up to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.